Okay. The fuck? Huh. Shit. What the fuck? Oh god, it's Dan, he's a gangster again. For fuck's sake, he's got a gun. What the fuck? I'm tempted to think someone keeps coming and putting something in my exhaust, but I know that's not the case. I know it's just old and shit. 'Cause I did it the other day. Well, it's been doing it for a while. Oh, hello ladies and gentlemen. The day has come where I can finally open my fucking mouth. I have been holding my tongue for fucking months. And I can finally talk about shit that I want to say. Firstly, let's talk about work. Passed the course. So I am officially a security officer. I'm qualified as a door supervisor. It's not the work I want to do, by no stretch of the imagination, but it's the work I'm qualified to do, so there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. Did it last week. Didn't do any videos during that period except the ride out which was the day after the course. I didn't want to discuss it then, because I felt like crap. I mean, we're talking like I couldn't talk for the first part of the ride. You may have heard in the preview version. When I spoke to my brother at A&B Bikes, my throat was shredded. I could barely talk. So anyway, I'm still not well. But the training's done. I got the call today to say I'd passed. The information has been passed on to the SIA, which is the Security Industry Authorization. They do everything with your license. So I'll be fully licensed within a couple of weeks probably, provided they don't fuck it up. Secondly, now this is the big news and the personal news that I've been waiting to talk about. I got the official go-ahead today from me better half to talk about it. We got a bun in the oven. I found out weeks ago. Obviously we couldn't talk about it because it was obviously so early. You don't want to talk about it early on just in case the worst should happen, and I never wish it would and everything. But we do. We've got a bun in the oven. It'll be number 2. Approximately 10 weeks along so far. We're just waiting on a letter to go for a scan. We went and saw the midwife today and got all the paperwork sorted out. Fuck, that's a lot of questions, but anyway. So yeah, it really has turned my world upside down this last couple of weeks. And in videos I've had to do so much editing because I find myself rambling about it, or I'll say something and I'll go oh. And it's important to note that it's not disappointment in my voice when I go oh. It's just the fact that I've spoken about it when I don't rightfully have permission yet, but now I do. There's a lot going on still behind the scenes that we're trying to get sorted out, which I'm not going to talk about because it's boring. But we're getting there. All the little plans are coming together. Things are happening as they should. We're just actually, getting it done. But yeah, 10 weeks along. I found out a few weeks ago. I got a message from me better half while I was in work one day. She said, "Oh, I've got a surprise when you get in." And me being a typical twat, I thought, "Oh, fucking hell, fry up for tea. Yes, that's my kind of surprise." And obviously she said it's a big surprise, and I thought, well, oh, a big surprise? Maybe it's lingerie. Funny though, that second one would have got me into the situation I'm in. But yeah, so I got home and the missus hands me this little box with a ribbon around it. And of course my first thought was, That's an extremely small fry-up, or very small lingerie. I'm a very simple-minded man. It's funny actually, because with the first kid, she actually told me by telling me she was late. I got home to her, and she turned around and said, "Oh, Dan, I'm late." And I said, "You can't be late, you fucking live here." And she said, "No, Dan, I'm late." I was like, "Oh, okay, well, I'll get the car, we can go. Come on, where are you late for?" And she went, "No, Dan, sit and listen." And I was like, "Yes." And she went, "I'm late." And that's when the penny dropped, and I went, "Ah, fuck." And that was like 7 years ago, something daft. And it's happened again! Despite my protests, she's adamant that it's not the postman's. Fuck. Truth be told, over the fucking moon, happy as could be, chuffed to bits. It does, like, completely shaft a couple of plans that I had, if I'm honest, but there's no way those plans outweigh a new life, you know, a new member of the family, a child. There's no way any plans could overdo that. So that's where it is. That's what I've been dying to fucking talk about for weeks, but I haven't been able to. We've known since about 4 or 5 weeks, so obviously I've known for over a month, but it's not my place to say anything about it without permission, and we were keeping it a secret for obvious reasons. One of them being, if something were to happen, you know, "Oh, we're pregnant." "No, we're not." "Nah, fuck." You know, it's that. Minimise disappointment, and in some ways it's worse if you tell people that you've had you know, I'm not going to mention it, but if you do have that situation, people coming up to you and going, "I'm so sorry," is worse than just being left on your own to get on with it in some ways. Anyway, the other reason is my little boy. Obviously, he has learning difficulties, so we have to take that into account with everything we do. Telling him that, he'll expect the baby tomorrow. So we're sort of waiting for the scan so we can have the scan and explain, and he's got body books and he understands how the body works and everything, how babies are made. We've been through all that with him, but we don't actually want to break the news to him for some time because for the obvious reasons, like I just said. I think we are actually waiting for the scan, which if she is 10 weeks, it'll be in 2-3 weeks, something daft like that, they were saying. We're just waiting on the letter to come through, that's all we're waiting on. Like I say, midwife today, she did another test. That's 3 individual tests over like a 6 weeks period, and all of them have said yes, so it's obviously true. Another postman's baby. I fucking kid. I am absolutely over the moon with it. It was a bit of a shock, I'm not gonna lie, and this is going to be a long video because I am going to talk about feelings. It was a shock. There are no other words for it. I came home, she handed me the box. Inside is a little piece of technology that she's urinated on. When you're expecting a fry up and you get handed a stick covered in urine, it's a bit of a fucking bummer. And it took a couple of days to sink in. There were a couple of days where I was just sitting there like, oh, what the fuck? Woohoo! I better find a spot soon because there isn't many. Ooh, after the box. Right. Whee! Just pull in here. But yeah, it was a shock. It took a while to sink in. For a little while my brain kept going, it can't be true. Fucking can't be. But if she was willing to spend the money on one of them little fucking tests that are very expensive because they've got all the digital display and how many weeks approximate and all that shit, then it's obviously true. There's no fucking about with it. It's fact, you know. So now the plan is we're looking for a place to live, which was always the plan, but it sort of accelerated the plan a little. Called for sacrifices to be made. One of the sacrifices I was looking at making was getting rid of this bike. You know, minimising outgoings and all that shit, because this bike is just a constant drain on resources with my current plan. Well, what was my current plan, but isn't anymore because of the obvious reason. And that's why I wanted to talk about it, but I couldn't. And everyone was saying, "Oh, when are you doing stuff to the red bike?" And I wanted to say, "Well, actually, I can't because of this," or you know, that sort of thing. And I couldn't say anything. It wasn't my place. But I had a deep and meaningful conversation with the missus earlier on that went along the lines of, "I saw a funny video the other day, and by the way, can I talk about your pregnancy and my one?" And she said yes. So yeah, that's what's been going on. That's what I've not been able to talk about, and it's gutted me because I'm over the moon about it. I'm happy. I really am. I always wanted a small family, you know, a couple of kids or whatever, and we've always felt bad that my lad hasn't had anyone to hang out with. He's had friends and such, but it can be a lonely life as a lone child, and a lot of adults have told me that. A lot of people have come up and said, "Oh, I was an only child, it's best that you have more than one because he'll get lonely in his early years." And I was thinking, well, fuck, I don't even know you, why are you telling me this shit? But anyway, so yeah, we're just, we're there now, you know, we've got the news, we're officially broadcasting it in a few weeks. I'm broadcasting it now because I'm a bitch. It's just been one mad fucking month for me. It's all going down with work, it's all going off at home, everything is changing. There's no part of my life that is currently static as it was. It's all changing. Obviously we've got a lot to sort out and a lot of things to think about that we didn't previously have to in such a light, if you will, but now are so very, very prevalent. You know, you think, oh fuck it, I don't have to think about that for a few months. Now it's all very much on my doorstep and I've got no choice in any matters or anything. Fortunately, the plan originally was to buy a house. Now that's still on the table, but we've got to wait and see with the bank, so I'll not go into it. But because of that plan, we've cleared everything up already, thankfully. As far as timing goes, things have actually fallen quite well. You know, we've got our financial lives sorted out practically. We're almost ready to make the jump. And the issue is, I fucking earn too much for the council. I'm not getting into it, fucking hell. I've had many an argument with my relatives about this chosen subject, because it's been boiling my piss for over a few years now, that due to my income I am not allowed a council house. Let's not get into it, fuck's sake. Anyway, there you go. It's going to be a bit of a raw video because all I've done is fucking chinwag all the way through it. Sorry guys, sorry. Whee! I did have all these grand ideas for throwing up a fucking funny video where I walked up to an oven with a bun in my hand and threw it in. But then I realised there's a household with so many people living in it, the kitchen's always a fucking state. So I wasn't going to do that. What is it? My bikes are backfiring. So yeah, fuck me, right?